During COVID, when things were pretty stated and everyone seemed bankrupt, did you know, according to ATF, US billionaires got $1.8 trillion richer during the pandemic? That's right. When millions of Americans lost their jobs and struggled to pay for necessities such as food or rent, these billionaires, they had debt too. But here's the point. They leverage it to avoid paying taxes. And we need to unfold the whole story, man. The truth is that financial experts like Dave Ramsey and many others have given debt a really bad name. Really, though, debt is something you should know about because if you know how to use it right, it can take your success and wealth to whole new levels. In fact, one of the most important things when looking for assets to buy for real estate is the debt chances that come with them. All right, so these ultra billionaires are super smart folks. And why is that? Let's talk about the most important ways they use the debt to build fortune. Number one, they borrow money against stocks on credit. This is the kind of format that your bank's brokerage account will usually give you for your stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, and other investments. In exchange for a line of credit, it's possible that these are called a PCL, which stands for personal credit line. They are also often called a margin account or a margin loan. You might be able to get up to a 60 or 70% loan to value your assets if your account is full of safe, high quality assets like index ETFs and mutual funds. Not only that, but the rates are usually very good for the borrower. And guess what? This is another case where having more money makes things better because your loan to value can probably go up if you have more money in these kinds of accounts. But even if you don't have that much money with the loan, your rate can go up by a lot. They want to give you a reason to keep your huge amount of money in their bank. In this case, if you're rich, you probably love it because you can get money for little or no cost and buy stocks. You keep the stocks and get the money. Number two, the next way the rich use debt is they buy homes and refinance them along the way. For many reasons, real estate is a gem, but the way that financing works in the real estate business is unique and not seen anywhere else. Banks have made this a very organized industry by creating full systems and underwriting guidelines to make the process go more smoothly. Even though underwriting has become a lot harder since the 2008 crisis, it is still one of the most organized debt lending industries in the world. Let's do a quick thought experiment. What other fields have such strong financing? E commerce doesn't really have stocks, so buying stocks isn't really a big deal. You can get loans on stocks once you own them, but not on stocks as an investment right away. The same goes for crypto, NFTs, and anything else in the digital space. The way people buy real estate, on the other hand, allows for a very high level of leverage, which gives them a lot of benefits, both from the asset itself and from tax breaks and other things. But that's only the pay money side. What about refinancing from time to time? I understand that you can get a loan to buy the assets so that you don't have to pay the full price all at once. Then you can refinance later to get a better interest rate on your loan or even take out more money to invest in other chances. With that, you're right. After getting the money from a cash out swap, you use it to buy another house with another purchase money loan. By investing in real estate with debt in a smart way, you're going to make the most of the chances you have. Guys, this is what rich people do. By putting their money into safe areas that always work out, they are carefully building up debt one opportunity after another. Some very rich people use loans in this way to make their money grow even faster and more steadily. Not only can you refinance, but there are other ways to use credit to buy real estate after you've already bought it. The most common one is a HELOC, which stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. If you have this kind of open line of credit, you can draw on it whenever you need money and pay it back whenever you want, as long as you follow the loan terms. This level of structure and flexibility is great for investment possibilities. It lets you choose when to pay back the loan and when to get the money, so you can be very flexible with your investments as needed. Number three, the next one is life insurance policy, more especially your whole life policy. People who are very rich use this technique to show that their plans and level of sophistication are way beyond what most people can understand. Is it possible that you are rich and have life insurance on yourself? This is because you want to make sure that your children, other family members who depend on you, and anyone else you name will be taken care of after you die. Furthermore, if they are a high class and rich person, it's most likely not a small life insurance policy. You can guess that the amount of money in that insurance coverage is probably several $1 million, or maybe even millions of dollars for DECA. Additionally, if you know how much that is worth in money, it's possible for someone with a lot of money to borrow against their insurance contract and use the money they get from the insurance as collateral. So, if their insurance policy was worth, say, $10 million, they could get a loan for a big chunk of that, some even at 100% of that value, taking every dollar down. They could then do whatever they wanted with that money, like give it to charity or whatever a wealthy person wanted to do. When they died, the insurance policy would pay off the debt, and the person who took out the loan would get the cash tax free. Now you know some of the biggest ways rich people use debt to make money and get richer. How and why are the questions. What are they going to do with the money if they get it? Next, let's talk about why and how rich people do this. One of the most important things is going to be tax benefits, since no one wants to pay more taxes when they're already making a lot of money. A high level professional might call this tax drag. But here's an interesting thing: money you borrow is not taxed like money you earn or small gains. So, if a rich person wanted to sell stocks that went up in value, they would have to pay taxes on the extra money they made. Instead, if you borrowed money against your stocks, like we talked about earlier, you wouldn't have to pay taxes on that debt. I'll say this another way: they agree to the loan and keep the stocks. They also get the money while keeping the stocks. They still have the assets, which gave them all the money they needed without having to pay any taxes on it. Don't you get it? Believe in yourself and think about how important it would be to get that money without having to pay taxes on it. More than that, you can often even write off the interest you paid on a loan for many types of debt. For someone who is very rich, this means getting more tax breaks while getting the money. From the point of view of someone who is very rich, it is a win win situation. In short, you keep the assets, get the money tax free, and may even be able to get a tax break during the whole process. Do you see how using the same methods as the very rich can take your net worth to whole new heights? This is very strong stuff. Number 4, the next reason the very rich use debt to pay for their lifestyles, daily costs, and other things we talked about earlier. They do this by taking out a margin loan or a PCL loan, which are loans where you use your stocks as collateral. A lot of rich people take out loans like this to pay for their daily lives. They have to pay their bills every day, so taking out a loan to pay for this is very helpful for them in several ways. To better understand this, let's look at Elon Musk's daily life. Even though he's the richest person in the world, he often borrows money to pay off his many bills and obligations, not just for living costs. It takes X shares for him to use them, but he saves them and gets a line of credit on them. He still has the assets, gets the cash from the loan using the assets as collateral, and doesn't have to pay any taxes on the sale of those Tesla shares. His pledged Tesla shares are basically his personal credit line, which means he can get billions of dollars in cash whenever he needs it. He can use this like a big piggy bank. Rich people all over the world use this stuff because it works so well. The fifth and final best reason is something called arbitrage. We'll talk about it in a more general and abstract way so that you can understand why rich people take out lines of credit. When you buy something for one price, like money, you can then sell it for a higher price and get a higher return. This is called arbitrage. So, if you borrow money at, say, 5%, and then put it at, say, 8%, you make that 3% spread with almost no work. It's just a matter of setting up those plans for your debt and letting the money do its thing. You hear rich people talk about this when they say they're putting their money to work. They are using their money to make a lot more money with little work on their part. Rich people also have access to one good, cheap, inexpensive line of credit with good terms. Things that always give you a return, like cash, investments, and real estate, because they know how much their debt costs and the amount of money they can count on being paid back. They can always figure out what their spread will be. A lot of wealthy people do this with investments that give them a steady salary, like an income fund. That wraps up the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay notified about our uploads. See you next time.